My name's Tori.
And my name is Gavin, and our project is on the Amazon Reef and how oil will affect it, as well as how to prevent drilling in that area.
The Amazon Reef is a recently discovered biogenic reef system spanning 22,000 square miles along the coast of Brazil. The reef has formed at the mouth of the Amazon River, which represents 20% of global riverine discharge into the ocean, making the North Atlantic shores highly salinified and sediment-ridden. A typical coral reef system is very sensitive to the water's salinity and pH levels and lives in shallow water where it can sunbathe. So the murky waters of the Amazon River made the discovery in 2012 even more interesting. The reef was discovered by a team of Georgia University and Rio de Janeiro University in Brazil, and they describe a biogenic reef system as a topographically significant structures built by benthic animals, plants, and microbes that mineralize skeletons and/or induce carbonate precipitation. In other words, the Amazon Reef is made up of living organisms rather than rock. It is a non-typical reef consisting of hybrid-type coral made from algae carbonate beds and sponge communities rather than coral skeletons and oyster shells. The key to the Amazon coral's unique survival is its composition of hard red algae, which has adapted to the low light conditions and strong currents. It uses the blue spectrum of light to gain sunlight and complete photosynthesis, even though the reef lies between 20 and 220 meters below the surface. Because of the depth of the reef and the sponge's ability to filter feed, it is home to many species of sponge, including 29 of which were discovered unique to the region by scientists.
Currently, the reef is said to be in pristine condition with no sun bleaching, unlike our other reefs. Due to its adaptation to the harsh climate of the river, the reef has been able to withstand aspects of global warming. Something the reef is unable to defend itself from is oil. Despite having survived this long being undiscovered, recently oil companies have expressed interest in the coastline of Brazil. Drilling efforts were put to halt in 2018 thanks to the effort of Greenpeace, one of the founding organizations of the reef. However, in 2023, oil discoveries in nearby countries put pressure on Brazil to explore their oil resources and more drilling options that began at the mouth of the river. Oil rigs continuously lose small amounts of oils during their day-to-day running, but if it is a spill, up to 10-meter waves will quickly sweep all the oil that's lost into the reefs. Once the oil reaches the reefs, it becomes impossible to clean, as vehicles have not yet been able to reach the location. When the complex mixture of oils enter the coral's tissue, it is slow to leave, and it has toxic effects and will last long after the spill. The oil inhibits coral's growth and reproduction, quickly killing it, as coral reproduces through a unique process all on the same night. Petroleum hydrocarbons from oil have been found to become deposits in the exoskeletons of coral and can show us historical rings of when high levels or oil spills have been present. Scientists are unsure yet of the exact effects of an oil spill on the Amazon Reef, as it is a very unique type of coral, but we can assume it would be catastrophic.
Protection of the coral reef is important to both our planet's biodiversity and also the species that present medicinal and scientific benefits. Scientists believe that the Amazon Reef houses species of sea sponge unique to the region that pose medical and scientific benefits, with one sponge even being found with anti-cancer properties. The Amazon Reef is thought to hold the same level of biodiversity as the Great Barrier Reef and is neighbor to national parks such as Cabo Orange, whose species are at risk if drilling takes place. Locals in Brazil have shown their favor towards the drilling because it is said to bring new jobs and money for the economy, while others have shown their fear due to a 2019 oil spill that devastated their tourism season and caused local fisheries to plummet 80% from contamination. In attempts to justify drilling near the reef's coast, oil companies suggest a chemical, Corexit, to erase the oil from the water in case of a spill. But if the chemical were to be used, coral is also destroyed in the process.
The United Nations declared that 2021 to 2030 would be recognized as the decades of ecosystem restoration, and centers around the protection around coral reefs to enhance the world's biodiversity. Currently, Greenpeace is leading the protests to prevent the drilling near the reef, as well as documenting the reef to raise awareness. So much of the Amazon Reef has yet to be discovered, and a small number of scientists are able to reach and study its unique ecosystem. The reef houses hundreds of species and sustains many others in their migration journey. The reef consists of many corridors winding and allowing fish to easily make the journey between the Caribbean and southern Brazil, explaining its importance to biodiversity. Environments have been long trying to uncover the solution to food security, biodiversity, restoration, and global warming, and overall peace, and the newly discovered Amazon reef may be able to answer these goals. Protecting the reef is important, and although oil can be helpful, it does not solve the UN's goals for restoration, and rather it slows it down.
We chose this ecosystem because it is not as widely known as other coral reefs, like the Great Barrier Reef, but it presents the same solutions and benefits. We think that by studying and understanding the unique makeup of the Amazon coral, we can come up with techniques in protecting our own local coral. Oil is a very known topic, but its negative effects on biodiversity are not as widely discussed, and it's important to recognize its impact on coral reefs.
While we obviously do not live in Brazil where we can present boots-on-the-ground solutions, even just educating ourselves on the importance of reefs make a big impact on, as it is little discussed by the average person. Through Greenpeace, anyone is able to access the information on the negative effects and destruction of the Amazon reef, and others offer protests and online petitions to prevent drilling. We have been committed to eating sustainable seafood and recycling, as it is one of the easiest ways to protect biodiversity. While oil cannot solve our problems in biodiversity, the Amazon reef may be able to pose some solutions.